Hello, this is Way of Weinstein, wherever you may be and however you may be watching, live in the financial district of New York City. Here to talk about my top 10 superhero movies of 2018. So those of you that know me, I love superhero movies. They're my favorite genre. That's why I don't feel it is fair for me to put a list of non-superhero movies with superhero movies. I like to separate them. So, let's start with number 10. Okay, number 10 is Solo, a Star Wars story. So, I was thinking, are there 10 superhero movies that came out this year? And, yeah, I think I counted 10 if I included a couple of franchises that aren't comic book or exactly like Marvel, DC, Sony. So, Solo, really like the dynamic between Alden Ehrenreich and Khaleesi, Emilia Clarke. I thought they were great, and Donald Glover was great. But the problem is that Infus Nest. I mean, I don't have a problem with her being a woman. I have a problem with her being appearing to be like a 15-year-old girl who's supposed to be this badass. I mean, I don't get why you couldn't have made her someone that appeared to be a 25-year-old woman, a 35-year-old. I mean, just someone who you'd think is an actual threat. And Dryden Voss is good, and one issue is that the whole Maul reveal at the end is that, now granted, did I watch Rebels, and after this I went back and watched the few episodes of Clone Wars that were apparently Maul was brought back to life, but I feel like most people that watch Star Wars had no idea about Maul in the cartoons Rebels or Clone Wars. They're like, what the huh? So that's why it's number 10. I mean, I think Star Wars is going to get back on track with episode 9, but Han Solo, good effort. Okay, number 9 is Incredibles 2. It was long awaited. It was arguably the most overdue sequel. I mean, the first one came out in 2004, so 14 years later. I mean, again, great story. The characters are someone that you care about. I mean, they had you thinking between the two duo, is it the brother or the sister that's betraying them? So, and then when Evil Endeavor, Evelyn. So I like that, and the whole dynamic is, do they need supers? Are supers needed? And then the whole thing where the kids needed to save the day, like that. Didn't love it. That's why it's number 9. Okay, number 8 is Bumblebee. So I will say this: out of the Transformers movies, I would say it's the best one since the original in 2007, where Shia and Megan Fox and Optimus. That's still my favorite Transformers movie. So I like the story. I thought Bumblebee was great. It's finally to actually like a Transformers movie for the first time in a while. Transformers 4 is arguably one of my most hated movies of all time, and I still to this day haven't seen Transformers 5 because it was that awful, and I've just heard it's that bad. So, but my biggest problem with this one is that the actors and actresses who played Haley Steinfeld's family, they were just awful. And I'm not someone who just can notice when someone's just doing an awful acting performance, but they were awful. You couldn't have cast anyone better for such a recognized IP as Transformers. And the whole thing at the end when the guy risked his life and you won't even hold his hand. I mean, come on. A hand holding that's very innocent. Come on. Okay. Number 7, AntMan and the Wasp. Obviously, MCU. I love the MCU. Have every MCU movie on Blu-ray downloaded on my iPhone. Love it. The thing with AntMan is that he's a superhero that's funny, but it's not as much like weight, and it's not as much at stake as other Marvel movies. And I thought Ghost was kind of a throwaway villain. Although I do like how it kind of stayed in its own lane until the end credit scene when they realized the snap and AntMan Paul Rudd's the only one who's there in the quantum realm. So I'm excited to see how he gets out for Endgame. But overall, liked it. It was funny, good story. Liked the chemistry between Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly, and the other supporting characters, T.I. and Michael Pena. They were great. Okay, number 6, Deadpool 2. The biggest problem with Deadpool 2 is that it's coming off of the first Deadpool, and the first Deadpool came out of nowhere, and it was amazing. So it was so hard to top the first Deadpool, and the fact that you had Josh Brolin coming off of Thanos, so the instant comparisons to this and Infinity War is two characters, which I love the references of Zip It Thanos. When he had cancer and he had the collar, he was like, "Oh, I'm almost as useful as Hawkeye now." Winter Soldier arm. I love the fourth wall breaking, Dopinder, and saving the kid, and how really this one really was a family movie. Okay, and now to the top 5. Number 5, Venom. Tom Hardy's just a phenomenal world-class actor who should have an Oscar, eventually will get one. His dynamic between Eddie Brock, the symbiote, and his relationship with trying to get back Michelle Williams, and then keeping it in check, and then fighting Riz Ahmed's riot, that was great. And it started off a little slow, but it really picked up speed. And the fact that they were able to make a Venom movie, because everyone said you can't make a Venom movie without Spider-Man, and they did it, and it made over $800 million, which kudos to Venom for achieving that feat. And I was rooting for Venom, because if Venom would have flopped, then I feel that Sony would have said, we're taking back Spider-Man, and I like Spider-Man in the MCU. So, Venom, great job. Tom Hardy, world-class actor, doing world-class things. Okay, speaking of Spider-Man, number 4 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So, I knew next to nothing about the Miles Morales Spider-Man character, and I actually saw a little clip of this for the end credit scene at Venom, and because it was getting such great reviews, I believe it was when it came out a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's really heartfelt when you see the relationship between Miles and the different Spider-Man in it, whether it's Spider-Ham, Gwen Stacy, Noir Spider-Man. It's got humor, and it's got heart, and you get why everything happens, and just seeing Miles become his own Spider-Man throughout the movie was really great. And I gotta say, out of any movie on this list, it's by far my biggest surprise to achieve the position that it did achieve on this list. So congrats to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Hopefully there will be a sequel. Okay, top 3 time. Number 3 is Aquaman, which I love this movie. So with Aquaman, are there some flaws? They could have gone into the backstory of Ocean Master to why that the father wasn't more resented, though I hated Aquaman, because the father was the one that apparently... Okay, again, there's spoilers. If you haven't seen Aquaman yet, stop. I'm about to go into major spoilers for Aquaman. So, them thinking that their mother was dead, which apparently she survived the trench and was alive the whole time. And I thought Black Manta really wasn't necessary for this particular movie. I feel like they could have done without him and just focused more on Ocean Master. But Jason Momoa killed it. Amber Heard was amazing. Patrick Wilson was great. And Willem Dafoe as Volko. And of course, Nicole Kidman. And in a way, like how when I was reading this synopsis, they said that Volko is in a way like a Obi-Wan Kenobi for Aquaman, and seeing their dynamic, and then seeing how Aquaman, he wasn't trying to be the king of Atlantis just for himself. He was doing it because it was the only way to protect the surface world and those below the sea. And it was so satisfying when he finally got the lost trident. So overall, very satisfying. And okay, so top 2 time. So I feel like most of you could probably guess what my top 2 are. So number 2 is Black Panther. So Black Panther was just a great movie. I mean, from the beginning, seeing how the king's brother stole the vibranium because he said we need to liberate our people, give these people resources to fight back. That's not the way. Seeing the both sides, seeing Killmonger, Claw, the rise of Black Panther, T'Challa, the Dora Milaje, Watanabe. I know I'm mispronouncing some names, but overall it was great. I mean, the dynamic and the choreography of the fights, and seeing how T'Challa almost lost to M'Baku in the first fight and then gets thrown off by Killmonger, and then when he comes back and that final battle sequence, that was great. And it was just a movie that just got you feeling happy the whole time. And to number 1, which this is the least surprising number 1 I could possibly have. It was my number 1 most anticipated movie going into 2018. It is Avengers Infinity War. It was amazing. I mean, how the Russo brothers got all the Marvel characters, pretty much, with the exception of a few. Hawkeye, Ant-Man, yada, yada, yada. But pretty much everyone. And culminated the previous 18 films was sensational. I mean, a couple of scenes just get me goosebumps, and sometimes I watch them before I jog. Though when Iron Man first puts on his suit, and the timestamp of that is 2050. I was awesome hearing the Avengers theme and just hearing with the new nanotech. That was awesome. And then when Black Panther's leading the charge, doing the chant, and then 2 minutes later, the Wakanda Forever, him and Cap riding side by side, and then the moment in my theater when I saw it opening night that Thursday that got the biggest ovation was when Thor arrives in Wakanda and you see Stormbreaker coming through, and then he catches it, and then everyone's looking at him. Widow, Black Panther, Hulk, Captain America, and Hulk saying, "You guys are so screwed now." And then seeing how Proxima Midnight and the other Thanos henchmen and henchwomen were just terrified because they knew that, oh damn, Thor got Stormbreaker. And then when he said, "Bring me Thanos," oh my god, that cheer was like a big sports event. It was insane. And the fact that this movie was about Thanos and how you could see why he thought that he needed to take out half the population to conserve the resources. Specifically, how he just was a villain that I personally think is the greatest MCU villain we have had to date. And you forget to think that was a motion capture that Josh Brolin did an unbelievable job. And when he actually gets the 6th stone and does the snap, and you're like, what? Wow, oh my god, what just happened? Seeing the dusting, that was unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I was like, oh my god, what happened? And then seeing the end credits scene of Nick Fury sending the pager message to Captain Marvel. And I mean, it's a movie I've probably seen close to 10 times already. I mean, it's that amazing. I love Infinity War. It is my second overall favorite MCU film, only behind the original first Avengers in 2012. But yeah, that is my top 10 superhero movies for 2018. To recap, number 10, Solo: A Star Wars Story. Number 9, Incredibles 2. Number 8, Bumblebee. Number 7, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 6, Deadpool 2. Number 5, Venom. Number 4, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Number 3, Aquaman. Number 2, Black Panther. And number 1, Avengers Infinity War. That's my top 10 for the superhero movie films of 2018. Let me know what were your guys' top 10. What do you like that I said? What do you disagree? Let me know. Put it in the comments. If you like this video, like it, share it, write a comment. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Way of Weinstein. Have a great night.